Okay, now that you're prepared for Marketplace, what do you do when you arrive at Marketplace? What can you expect when you show up? So you'll arrive at the Houston room, Student Center South. There is going to be a student sign-in area and an agency sign-in area. Most of the agencies will already be signed in, but if you're there in that 9 to 10 o'clock window, you'll want to come to the area where students sign in. There's a ticket booth area in front of the Houston room where the doors open and there's a counter. We'll have laptops for you to sign in. So you'll want to make sure you sign in. And then you'll also want to pick up the most updated map of the room. Things will sort of shift around a little bit leading right up to Marketplace. So we'll have a hard copy of the map of the room available for you to pick up on the morning of Marketplace. There will also be an agency tracking sheet and interview report sheet that you'll pick up. So you'll get a map of the room along with the agency tracking sheet, which will be just a sheet for you to write down which agencies you've signed up with and what date and time and any information that you need for the interview. There will also be an interview report sheet that you're going to turn back into us that will let us know what agencies you have signed up to interview with. So again, when you get to Marketplace, we will not open the door for students until 10 a.m. So 10 a.m. the doors will open for students and you'll be able to go into the room and start to talk to the agency representatives and get signed up for interviews. You do not have to stay the whole time. So you'll want to make sure you sign in, get the map, get the agency tracking sheet, and the interview report sheet. So just to recap on some of the things to consider when you're inside Marketplace, this is a quick interaction. First impressions matter. So how you approach the agency is really going to be what your first impression is. The questions that you ask, whether you seem engaged in the conversation or distracted, if you're asking too many questions sort of about what you're going to get out of the interview. So in the last video, while I talked about you need to spend some time really understanding what you want, you really do need to spend some time balancing your needs with the agency's needs and what they have to offer. So if you walk up to an agency and you're like, what are you going to do for me? And that's the entire line of questioning, then an agency is going to pick up on that and start to feel like, what also do you bring to us and what can you contribute to our agency? What kind of knowledge and skills do you have? How can we sort of work together and see if we're a good fit? Remember to not hog the agency representative. Be mindful of the time. And what this means is like you're really excited about this agency and you really want to make sure you make a good impression. But if you take up an hour of that agency representative's time in a 4-hour event, you're not allowing that agency to also talk to other students and get to know them and allow them to sign up for interviews. This also can sort of damper your impression to an agency. So you want to make sure that you're not hogging the agency representative's time, that you ask some good questions, have a good, meaningful conversation with them, decide whether you want to sign up for an interview or not, and then move on to some of the other tables. Also, don't interview with agencies if you are not interested in them. So I like to say that Marketplace is a little bit like dating. So people's feelings are involved and you have these sort of quick interactions with people and you might feel obligated to sign up for an interview with an agency because you've stood and talked to the agency rep for 10 or 15 minutes. But if you can tell in that interaction that it's not going to be a good fit for you or you're not interested, it's most respectful to the agency to say that you appreciate learning more about them and that you appreciate their time talking with you, but that you're going to continue to look at other agencies and that you will come back by if you want to sign up for an interview. So you're going to want to be respectful of all the agencies, even if they're not a good fit for you. So this is a small social circle of a lot of alumni of our program, people that are working in the community that you may need as a network when you graduate and become a social worker. So you're going to want to be really respectful during Marketplace and be mindful of the information and the impression that you're making, because in not too long, you'll be interviewing with different agencies for a job and you'll never know who you might run into again. So again, make sure that you're mindful of the time. Don't interview if you're not interested with an agency. Also, if you sign up for an agency and then you continue through Marketplace and you find that there are other agencies that you know will be a better fit for you, you can go back to an agency and tell them, I've signed up for an interview, but I've continued to talk to other agencies and I have got to make some decisions because there's a limit to how many interviews I can go on. And so again, I'm going to take my name off of your list, but thank you for your time. So there's a way to be respectful. It is not respectful to sign up for an interview and then to not show up. Every year, agencies call me and say, we had students scheduled for an interview and they didn't show up. So there is a 3 to 4 interview limit, meaning that you should be signing up for a minimum of 3 and really no more than 4. There is an exception if you are going to be in all very competitive placements or you're put in an application for the VA, something like that. There is going to be a slot for a 5th agency, but the majority of you should be signing up for 3 to 4 agencies. Okay, so on your way out of Marketplace, so you've gone through Marketplace, you've visited the tables that you were interested in, you've talked to different people, you've learned about different agencies. I really do encourage you to stay open to the experience. Some people sort of come in and say, these are the 4 agencies, I'm only going to those tables, and then I'm out. But there is a lot of networking that can take place at Marketplace. You can just learn about agencies, even if that's not where you want to do a field internship. This is your first chance to get to really understand a lot of the social service network that exists in Houston. So when is another time that you're going to have sort of 75 or 80 agencies in one place that you can talk to about what they do and how they have social work present in their location. So I would stay open to Marketplace. But now you've finished that process, and on the way out, you're going to want to make sure you review that list of agencies not attending and sign up for any additional interviews, again, in your cap of 4. If you sort of There will also might be agencies who have signed up for Marketplace and then don't show up, so there will also be sign-up sheets for those agencies. There will be a student survey or evaluation that we'll ask you to fill out on your way out of Marketplace so that we can get your feedback on Marketplace and how to do it better next year. Make sure when you're leaving that you have the contact information and appointment times for everyone that you've signed up. We will provide you with a tracking sheet that should help with that. You can also make sure that information is in your phone or whatever electronic device you have. But you're going to want to make sure before you leave that you've got the appointment times and locations and contact information for all of the appointments set. So some agencies will have a sheet that will have specific times. You'll sign up for March 13th at 2:00 at this location, and other agencies will take your name and email address and get back to you about when to set up an interview. But in either case, you're going to want to make sure that you've got the name of the agency, the contact person, and if you've signed up for a specific time, you'll want that. Okay, thank you.